Hi, so this will be the continuation of what we started, and it's about, again, our community, and I'm going to show some stats because the topic of the talk was success stories, and since this is the first year, we'll start to gather some stats in order to compile to see if we really are successful or if not. So Jan already presented very quickly what are our main websites and places where we gathered, and for example, these are some stats about this track, and we had much more submission than last year, and if any one of you have organizations that you want to present open source design, just contact us because we want to grow the community, and it would be great to have much more speakers. Bon. Then this is the GitHub. And there are a continuous number of members. We will see next year how much we grow and what are the repositories we have. Our most successful repo is the job one. In the job repo, you can make requests for designers to help you with your project. And 62 contributors already fixed things on the website or submitted requests for us to help them in some way with interface design or with logos. We use IRC for communication, so because we want to be able to communicate with open source, we're not using Slack, and we're trying to use open. And on average, there are 60 users. Again, questions there, you can reach us, and maybe this will be a more synchronous channel to gather, and not just once a year at FOSDEM. And Twitter is our most used channel, and in the last year we tripled our tweets, and we usually tweet about open source and design, and we have lots of followers, and this is how we keep track. You can use it. As Jan said, it's RSC because of the length constraint, so you need to know exactly where you can find us. And on Open Collective, it's very new, and we try to find ways to gather some money in order to print stickers, and this is something that happens for all the open source communities, finding a bit hard to reach funding, and we have to have backers. We don't have any expenses currently, but it's very cool that if we have some needs, we can try to fix them with that. Well, and our website, this is the only negative thing we have for the stats this year, and that is the number of articles. So we could write more and try to share more about designers that work there and about communities. In the gather of events, we also have monthly meetings, so you can also find us. It's first Tuesday of every month, if you're interested. And on the jobs, so for the whole period, we received 61 jobs requests, and there are still active 45. So we managed to close the difference, and Felix will present some of the things there. This means that we are not that successful in fixing every request from every open source organization comes to us, but at least we're trying, and we have some progress to show you in that direction. Okay, so I'm going to let Felix to show you a bit of examples of what we did in the past year.
It's a mic. I need the mic.
Yes.
So, where should I put it?
Wait a bit.
Okay. Yeah, so, where's the presenter? So yeah, we had open source design, we love you. Like, if you're an artist, open source coder, or even just like managing open source software, we all love you, and we love onions and bees. I know it's not an onion, but you're gonna get it when I come to this slide. So one success story was the Tor style guide. I mean, it's still ongoing. So Simply Secure posted it on our job board that they need someone for the Tor style guide, and Elio right over there picked it up and he was eager to doing it. So he even sent them an email, and what happened is that they didn't reply like for some time. But he said like, hey, I want to do this project. So he pinged them again, and when they replied, they said it's a perfect match. And so what happened is actually that, of course, he did the standard thing, right? He cleaned up the design, he did an awesome job cleaning it out, looking for a nice font face and really doing awesome work. But it's an iterative process, so they have bi-weekly meetings, and they found out it's a huge project, a huge community, so it's not just about some logo, it's about getting all this together, and therefore it's nice to see that it's not just another logo, but a bigger process involved. And speaking about it, it's like it was a paid job, and they even now started up a UX team for Tor, so actually there is coming design into another open source project, which is awesome. And Elio now will continue to work with the guys over there. So this is a very nice success, I would say. A different kind of success would be the Open Farm mascot. So Open Farm is a project also on GitHub, and they started about thinking, hey, we might need a mascot for our project. And there were some proposals, but yeah, it didn't come very far. So Simon, who's also part of our community, said like, I'm gonna post a job on open source design, and then this guy found it on our job board, Sam Shitteden, and he is not part of our community, so he just found it on our website, and this was his second proposal, and it stuck, pun intended. So what happened then is amazing, because you can see now really an iterative and open process over there, because they said, hey, we need some legs, right? It should be, we need some legs, but then they don't look that nice, so do other legs, come on, let's do this. And then they said like, okay, we have to work on the eyes, so what kind of eyes do we want to use? And then still they were thinking like, okay, but what's missing? Something's missing. Anyone has an idea what's missing? Huh? Maybe here? So there's no transparency in the wings, so they made transparent wings, and you see the difference. It changed quite much. But the big thing is the community working on this. This was all in one issue. This one guy doing most of the work, but he really appreciated all these people coming together and helping him doing this great thing. And that's OB, the final product. And we have a new member in our community now, like he's now part of open source design. And that's great. So now these were like two very visual things, and I really advise you to check out Belen's talk she gave this morning, because it's not just about the fancy logo, it's not just about the visual stuff. Like, we have so many experts here that can help your open source projects. For example, like doing complete new widgets or software structures there, or there was this proposal for redesign of the whole web page, so the architecture behind it, and UX, and yeah, visual of course as well. So I would say that at Open Source Design, our success is really that we connect enthusiasts like with the open source coders and community, and that's what it's all about. Like, we are a lively community. This was just this Friday when we came together to have a nice fun event. Yeah, and I hope you give us some feedback, and I think we have a little bit time of questions. Yeah, so thanks. No questions. That's all fine as well.
I mean, also a session at 1650 where you can present your project if you want, I don't know, design feedback, or if you want to create a job post on our GitHub. Yeah. So if you need any help, you can find us there. Or as I said, GitHub, IRC.
Okay, thanks.
Yes.
Oh, that's
what kind of design? Visual design, UX design, so it depends. Every developer uses his own tools. So
I would say, of course, we, like most of the designers here, try to work on open source, like, so they try to use open source. I must admit, I don't use open source for all of my work, but I try to especially the stuff where it's about data, right? So that's why I'm also part of the design team at Nextcloud. So I really believe open source is an important step. And there are options. That's the thing. There are so many open source projects, even for visual design or UX designer else. Yeah. For example, I think we should. Do we have a list for tools? I think we have a list for tools, right?
Yeah, on the
There's
Yeah.
a repo.
there's a repository.
Yeah. So maybe we have to put this out more so people find it. Yeah. You can have a look there.
Yeah, if you want to contribute to our website or anything, like improving things, like how we present stuff,
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. Or it can also be inside the feedback. Just like pop it over there.
So we have a designer doing some work creating some assets for our software, and we want to share them with people. And I'm wondering if you can point to some good ways to do that, whether it be repositories of freely licensed artwork, specifically graphical assets, so like images for different categories.
So finding the assets.
No,
But
we're actually getting them created for us.
Ah, okay.
And someone creating the assets for us, and then we want to license them freely and
Okay.
put them somewhere that's not under our project because they're sort of general purpose icons and
So-
other figures.
So we have a repository and it's called the resources and
What was the question for the?
Ah, yes, sorry. The question was how to get design that's been designed for open source projects actually out there so others can still use it, right? And I think you know about it, right?
So there's a repo. It's called resources, and you can put link there, or even the sources for the the logos or what assets you have. And yes, you can use this community to.
Because you specifically mentioned icons, did you? There's a website called the Noun Project,
Yeah.
and it's an icon repository basically. It's also very nicely designed, and they have all openly licensed icons. And it's also actually for any designer here who does icons, it's also a platform where you can make money off it because people pay for not attributing you. So it's essentially also a good source of income for open source designers.
Yeah.
Other questions? No? Then
Okay.
thank you so much, and
Yeah.
we hope we contribute to. Okay, thanks.